Let's go into French organized crime, such as the present outgrowth, the anti-Semites, and Interpol, the international police. A broad line, as were the Pinkertons, and before them, the Marginaults. The Marginaults fixed games, sports, and entertainments in brothels and taverns for Slavic Comintern's out of a rogue branch of Azerbaijani Shiite police from Poland. Pinkertons were college students conned into joining police units to be cops out of petty literature made by the French. And of course, it was plied to the Irish, victims already of the potato famine. Worse yet, Interpol claims to support the United Nations. They're just a murder-for-hire syndicate of people who failed basic police ethics. Either actual duty officers caught on a police brutality charge, what we call pigs in the United States. You're supposed to take your Tonva officers and put it on their left knuckle set and drag it onto a desk in the booking hall when they bring you a caller for their fee. Don't pay them, nobody does. Or alternately, fantasists who failed police logic. Their mother didn't give them a duh or an O or a bad. So they actually give that sign, mimicking a cop's mother. They're a mother rapist. They fucked their mother. They're an Interpol field officer or security guard. There are many myths about Interpol treaties being signed by countries. It's actually an unscrupulous president that's done so, hiring private detectives, mercenary goons, thugs like Blackwater. Interpol. They are not Europol, the European Union's enforcement unit, and in fact, Europol and Eurojust often hunt Interpol when they catch them in corporate malfeasance. The government of France doesn't pay for Interpol, particularly not after the 1971 murder of 23 medical students in 3 corners by an Interpol officer, hitting LUD, the embalming fluid flood, inside a lab. Called sex offenders, these victims by Jacques Sarkozy, the father of the president. An unscrupulous journalist, to say the least. So what funds Interpol? The De Beers Diamond Company, out of course, Namibia, and the prior genocide of the Namibian people by German and Swedish explorers. The Pinkertons exploratory project to form Interpol. They operate out of Saudi and United Arab Emirates executive shares, often alongside the criminals with thieving rings and things like that, using them as so-called informants, actually dumb muscle. An Interpol officer's entire life is expressing authority at a lever hand on a woman, or who he regards as a woman, for having the concept of a machine or leverage to enforcement of law. Law isn't a machine or a leverage point, but somebody called a faggot in law school will believe that. They often get placed in guidance counselor services, and anybody who obeys a guidance counselor in school has failed. They're moved to technical school. Just refuse your guidance counselor and you win. So you see what's supposed to happen. Now, Interpol's prime modus is the claim of law enforcement with stolen uniforms, cop cars, and myths, like the Section 8 commitment to a hospital. A cop can't commit you. Your parents can't commit you against your will. And if they try, call in an uncommon felony. What's the term? Accusation charge? Your local city hall will do so through the police. They'll investigate it. And if your parent really has pushed you into psychiatric care against their will, you'll receive a tidy suit or some for your new career. As whatever you choose, voluntary everything, you can spend all of it and lose. Doesn't matter. And they'll be removed of their held property of land. That was placed into motion by General George Washington, and the City Hall's notarized and, of course, procedural units 1776. Interpol can't look, they can't get through State Police Academy, and if they did, they're a dirty cop, they probably don't care they've done it. That's a police brutality charge to forcibly place in the hospital, or a corrections making arrest when it's supposed to be a cop, or a liquid union, can't do it. You're a union of, what's the term? Watch oversight? But the problem is you aren't an American government soldier. You're a petty lawyer. You're not a cop, soldier, spy, insurance auditor, private sector. You support Israel. Bogus, especially the Texas Rangers. So, what do you do if Interpol comes knocking? It's real simple. When they ask who you are, refuse to go with them. And if they try to scuffle you, fight them. See if Interpol wants to do something. Now remember, they have a number of false charges. If you hear one thrown at you, it's a supporter of Interpol. That guy is a pedophile fecophiliac. He wants to make you a child by passing his bowels. Or if it's a woman accusing you, it's a false, phony of fraud. Not phony as slang like a fake dollar or a counterfeit bill, but a phony. They're trying to mimic your culture to date you, and then if you refuse to mate, they'll hire Interpol or an affiliate service, or just get mobsters or thugs to goon you. Now this is the best thing for dealing with Interpol. Remember, watch the Interpol treaties list. If a president such as Barack Obama, he did this, signs an Interpol treaty, ignore anything a Barack Obama supporter says. Just ask them, keeping track of his politics. Always use Fox News, the British. British cops hunt Interpol at live charge. That means they'll arrest or shoot them. In British, Canadian, Australian, etc. territory, all parliaments under the Queen or King. Make sure you don't listen to their orders. So when Interpol comes, you just ignore them. And if they even touch you, see the door? Door is open. He won't reach right-handed. He's a corrupt cop who'll reach left-handed. Notice where my door is? Grab his wrist and push it against the door once he crosses into your home. If he presses charges, call the church for an exorcism. You'll get a pro bono defense attorney. A priest will visit and discuss your case. Easy. This is American, by the way. The funniest part is when they give you a corrupt exorcism. Interpol thinks it's voodoo to hire an attorney. That guy is so obsolescently moronic. He can't read or write beyond a third grade level. The requirement for a corrections sheriff's alternative. They think they can do something beyond ferry prisoners in a van with chains. And that means they have something like that. Or the constables unit, a recent prank on an Interpol officer we came up with out of the famous video game Grand Theft Auto. I believe it was the third one with the black sedans working for the Italian mob. This guy thinks he's a British constable or a Hindu constable. The British constable already obsoleted centuries ago, and the Hindu constable running military defense wings and having Sikhism, what Americans call Down syndrome. He's admitting to being retarded, and he doesn't exist. He's a ghost. He's the Klan. Always remember one rule with Interpol. They only have power if you talk to them. Just listen, but don't talk back. Don't even engage them in discussion. The funniest thing is when Interpol recruits somebody against their will without realizing it wasn't Interpol. So if you want to have some fun, put Interpol in a video game and have a custom create a character command or the equivalent. Then somebody will put you in Interpol and they'll give you license to kill as a private detective. I did it. They think I'm an authorized kill agent of the military. 3 Interpol busted, 2 dead. The last one in the psych ward. The Israeli Defense Forces handled it.